Colors are posted.
Right, state. Post, post.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our opening prayer. Skip Diamond will lead us in prayer.
Almighty God, you are the source of our life, strength, and purpose. In your presence alone we find hope, and life. Guide us during this hour of fellowship and reflection. Be grounded with the healing reminders of your love to all of those who we touch this day. For it is in your glory we are gathered and offer our prayer. Amen. Amen.
Please be seated. Good morning. I'm Peter K. Goebel, the Director of the Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency. We have gathered here this morning to honor a deceased Rensselaer County veteran for the month of November, and that veteran is William P. Wade. We are honored to have with us this morning his family, his son Thomas Wade, his son Edward Wade and his wife Susan, his grandson Tim Wade. His grandson, William Wade, couldn't be with us. We also have his nieces, Ann Gingereski and nephew, Bob Wade. Thank you for being here. Also with us today to honor our Veteran of the Month are representing Congressman Paul Tonko, Ryan Horstmeyer, former Congressman Michael McNulty, representing New York State Senator Kathleen Marchione, Dan Casale, New York State Senator Neil Breslin, New York State Assemblyman Steve McLaughlin, New York State Assemblyman John McDonald III, our Rensselaer County Executive Kathy Jimino, Rensselaer County Legislative Chairman Stan Brownell, Rensselaer County Legislative Deputy Minority Leader Ed Manny, Chairman of the Legislative Veterans Committee Tom Walsh, Colonel Joseph Morrow from the Commander of the Waterville Arsenal, and also legislators Cynthia Duran, Mark Fleming, Robert Loveridge, and Gary Pavlik. As we are all well aware, Memorial Day and Veterans Day are special days to remember all of our veterans. This program was created to help us honor our veterans all year round. To us here in Rensselaer County, every day is Veterans Day. The Rensselaer County Honor a Deceased Veteran program represents veterans organizations throughout the entire county. This includes members of the American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, Veterans of Lansingburg, Military Order of the Purple Heart, Marine Corps League, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Korean War Veterans, Tri-County Council of Vietnam-era Veterans, Heroes at Home, Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, and Vietnam Veterans of America. I will now ask Stan Brownell, Rensselaer County Legislative Chairman, to come forward to tell us about our honored veteran for the month of November, William P. Wade.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning. Welcome to the chambers of the Rensselaer County Legislature. My name is Stan Brownell, as previously mentioned, and it is my honor to serve as chairman and welcome you to today's Honor Deceased Veteran Ceremony. Today we are gathered to honor William P. Wade. William P. Wade was born in Troy, New York on November 22nd, 1922. He was the son of William was a brother of Robert Wade, Florence Wade, Filippini, and Patricia Wade Bizarro. William grew up in South Troy, attended St. Michael's School in Troy High School, graduating in 1940. William enlisted in the United States Navy on December 8, 1942. He completed basic training at the Great Lakes Naval Training Station in Illinois before attending radio school. William was a radioman, second class, and he served aboard the USS Navy submarine chaser SC-1319 and the USS Argonne. William was a proud recipient of the Philippine Liberation Ribbon with 2 stars, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal with 3 stars, American Campaign Medal, the World War II Victory Medal, and Good Conduct Medal. William was honorably discharged on January 6, 1946. On November 25, 1945, just several weeks before receiving his honorable discharge, William married Bernice D. Walsh at St. Francis Church in Troy, New York. Together they had 2 children, Thomas W. Wade and Edward J. Wade, and 5 grandchildren, Sheila Wade Duffy, Kristen Wade, William P. Wade II, Matthew Wade, and Timothy Wade. William worked for the New York Telephone Company. He was the last elected commissioner of the Rensselaer County Department of Social Services and also served as the Rensselaer County Clerk. William was also proprietor of Wade's Wine Shop. William had a love for fishing and youth baseball. He was a member of the American Legion, St. Mary's Bowling League, and Holy Name Society. He was also the East Greenbush Democratic Chairman and a member of the Rensselaer County Democratic Committee's Executive Committee. In Rensselaer County, we have vowed to never forget our deceased veterans and our living veterans. Every day in Rensselaer County is Veterans Day. Thank you for allowing us to share.
I will now ask former Congressman Mike McNulty to come forward.
Thank you, Peter. So for purposes of today's ceremony, and depending on your political affiliation, I am either Paul Tonko or John Faso. And I'd be proud to represent either one of them because they are both strong supporters of veterans in general and this program in particular. And I was reminiscing last week at the Albany Honor a Veteran program with my friend Mike Hoblock that we collaborated and started this program 25 years ago. And thankfully it spread 2 years later to Rensselaer County and now to Schenectady and Saratoga counties. And we hope it spreads all across the state and nation so that we remember our veterans in a continual fashion as we do here in Rensselaer County. I'm especially pleased to be here today with the Wade family because I have a long relationship with generations of the Wade family. And I knew Bill, I knew him very well. And I consider him a senior mentor. He was my father's age. He was born the same year as my father, 1922. He was a Navy veteran like my father. He was elected Rensselaer County Clerk in November of 1969, the same day that I was elected Town Supervisor of Green Island, my first office. And he was a dear friend. And of course, I know Eddie and Tom and their families. Tom I've been associated with in many different ways all of our adult lives. We've known each other for near 50 years. And Tom's son, Billy, carried on the family tradition and is himself a distinguished veteran. So we are very grateful for the service of the Wade family to our country. And when I attended these programs through the years, and I still do, I attend every one in Albany County, every one in Rensselaer County, and I do it because I want to keep my priorities straight. And, you know, I'm 70 years old now, so you look back on your life and you think about the things that happened, and I think of all the blessings I've had in my life. And I know that many of them stem because of the fact that I live in the United States of America, the freest and most open democracy on earth. And I have to simultaneously remember freedom isn't free. We have paid a tremendous price for it. So I don't let a day go by without remembering with deepest gratitude all of those who, like my brother Bill, made the supreme sacrifice, and people like Bill Wade, and my dad, and people in this room who left their homes and families, went to far-off places, put their lives on the line for us, and then thankfully came back home and did wonderful things like Bill Wade did, and left a beautiful family like this. So these are the things I'm most grateful for today. So I just want to say thanks to Tom for asking me to say a few words, and also to let everyone know, and especially the Wade family, that people like Bill Wade are the reasons why, when I get up in the morning, the first two things I do are to thank God for my life and veterans for my way of life. Thank you.
I will now ask Ryan Horstmeyer, representing Congressman Paul Tonko, to come forward.
Thanks, Peter. Good morning. Congressman, you did Paul Tonko very well. I'm just going to read his letter. If the congressman were here, he'd thank Peter, County Executive Jimino, Chairman Brownell, all the folks at Rensselaer County, the members of the committee, all the veterans assembled, Colonel Morrow, and Congressman McNulty for your work to organize this event over many years and every month. It's a great tribute. The Congressman appreciates it. Unfortunately, he is attending the legislative business on his way to Washington, so asked me to stand in his place. I have a letter to read on his behalf to the Wade family. To the family of Radioman Second Class Wade, I regret not being able to participate in today's ceremony honoring your relative, as I must attend a legislative business in Washington, D.C. I am deeply grateful that you would welcome me to this ceremony, and I am equally thankful that your reception extends to my representative. Indeed, it is a great privilege on behalf of the people of New York's 20th Congressional District to recognize the service of United States Naval Radioman Second Class William P. Wade. This ritual reminds us of the sacrifice of all veterans, and those of Radioman Second Class Wade in particular. These fellow citizens would be deprived of the comforts of home to confront danger on behalf of the American family. We are eternally grateful for their service in defense of our way of life. Our gratitude for Radioman Second Class Wade's work extends to you, his loved ones. His devotion to the values of respect, selflessness, integrity, and courage defined his work in the Navy. He maintained this devotion with your support, I am sure, to become a productive and responsible member of this community. In the name of your relative, I arranged for an American flag to be flown over the Capitol building in Washington. The flag symbolizes in part the vigilance, perseverance, and valor required to establish and sustain our democratic republic, a place where justice and opportunity may be pursued in peace. My sincere hope is that you will forever cherish this tribute, just as we resolve today to cherish the memory of Radioman Second Class Wade. Sincerely, Paul D. Tonko, Member of Congress. Thank you very much.
I will now ask George Christian, representing Congressman John Faso, to come forward.
Good morning, everyone. It's my privilege to be here today to represent Congressman John Faso, who also is en route to take care of legislative business in Washington. I take this honor very seriously. I'm proud to be a part of his staff. The Congressman sent a letter in his absence for us to review and consider his personal feelings about this ceremony. The letter reads, "Dear Wade family, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful event to honor William's contributions to this great nation. Unfortunately, I cannot be here personally, so I have sent Veterans Liaison George Christian to represent me today. It is indeed a privilege to recognize the services of William to our country. William enlisted in the United States Navy on December the 8th, 1942. He served in World War II, and for his service, William earned awards for his participation in the Pacific Theater. William was honorably discharged from the United States Navy on January 6, 1946. William was not only active in the military, but he was active in his community. He worked for the New York Telephone Company, served the Rensselaer County Commissioner of Social Services, the Rensselaer County Clerk, was the proprietor of Wade's Wine Shop. William was not only an avid bowler, fisher, and active in youth baseball. William led a great life, serving his community as well as he did when he defended his country. However, the most important role that William played was as husband to his wife, Bernice, and the father to his two sons, Thomas and Edward, as well as his grandfather role to Sheila, Kristen, William, and Wade II, Matthew, and Timothy. Therefore, I, and on behalf of the citizens of the 19th Congressional District, recognize the exemplary service of William P. Wade to the nation, and thank you, and God bless you. It's real fitting that we had this ceremony today, so close to the time of Veterans Day. It really shows what the country really feels of him. He's a veteran. He participated in his community, and he's done so much to make the people of Rensselaer County proud of his accomplishments. And maybe you all be proud of him also. Fortunately, I get to stand in often in the absence of the congressman. It's big shoes to fill, so I don't take it lightly either. Thank you for this opportunity.
I will now ask our Rensselaer County Executive, Kathy Jimeno, to come forward.
Thank you. Good morning. I, too, have known the Wade family for a while. Ed and Sue and I went to Catholic High together, so 20 years we've known each other. And what's that giggling about? Living up in the Berg, just 2 blocks from the Wade wine store, I would occasionally stop in there and visit your mom. And of course, I've sparred with Tom over the years, as many of us in the Republican stripes have done. So, but it's interesting to hear about your dad, because we never really talked about your dad, and understandably so, because he passed before we were even in high school, before we were up at Catholic High together. And I often think about, in particular, our World War II veterans who joined the service when they were so young, your dad when he was just 20. And after Catholic High, Sue and I worked together while we were going through college, and we know what we were doing when we were 20. And it was not putting our country first. It was often about when was the next fun time we were going to have, the next date we were going on, the movie we were going to see. But our World War II veterans heard that call to arms. They put their country first. Many of them had not been out of their hometown, or certainly out of their home state, but they got on troop ships and they went over into some very fierce fighting in the South Pacific. Then when he came home, he served his community so beautifully, and I still remember the late Commissioner John Bedoin speaking so fondly about your dad, being the last elected commissioner, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last commissioner before John became commissioner, having served us for 40 years in that position. And as well, we see his contribution through a number of other organizations in the community, and that legacy being carried on by you both. I know that Sue and Ed are very involved in Joseph's house here in Troy, and I know, Tom, you've supported the election process, even if it is on the wrong side of the aisle, for many, many years, and contributed to our democratic way of life. So on behalf of all the residents of Rensselaer County, I'd like to present a proclamation in honor of your dad, and to thank you for his service to country and service to his community.
I will now ask Rensselaer County Legislative Veterans Chairman Tom Walsh Sr. and all the assembled legislators to come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All the years that I've been on the legislature, I think it's the first time I really officially got to meet Tom. So. And it's really strange to find out your mother's name was Walsh. So, no relations, but last Sunday we honored a number of veterans and gave them medals that they earned during their service. And I always do this. I look down and see which service they were in, because I always like to bust on Alex Shannon, because he was in the Navy. And anyway, I just seen that the first time I think in the years that I've been doing it, that the Navy outnumbered the number of medals that the Army got. And I said then, I said there was 9 Navy guys and 5 Army guys that got the medals that day. And then the commander that was presenting them to the medals to the recipients stated, no, there was 9. Actually, there was 7 Navy guys and 5 Army. And he said, no, there's 9, because there's 2 Marines too, and they're part of the Navy. I didn't even know that. Not really. Anyway, we're honoring William today for his services in World War II. And we just want to mention to you that out in the hallway is our Hall of Heroes, and where we honor 14 Medal of Honor winners. And we also have on the left-hand side the plaques with all the veterans that we honored over the years here at the Rensselaer County. And we just want to tell you that William's name will be on that plaque next year. So, and we'll have a formal presentation when we present that plaque and invite the family back up here again. I have here a proclamation honoring William, and it's signed by our chairman, Stan Brownell. I would like to present that at this time.
I will now ask Dan Casale, representing New York State Senator Kathy Marchone, to come forward.
Good morning. I'm honored here to be here today representing Senator Kathy Marchone. She could not make it, but sends her warmest regards to the Wade family. And a little comment here, I think I've known Tom since I was a baby, I think, and we have a lot of history. Liquor stores, wine stores, my father being a county clerk with your father in the old 13th Ward down there in St. Pat's Church, boy. So I'm going to say a few words in honoring your father. We forever honor the service and sacrifice, remember the courage and commitment of America's true heroes, the men and women of our armed forces who wear the country's uniform and proudly answered the call to serve, true heroes like William Wade, who we memorialize today. So on behalf of Senator Marchone and all the grateful New Yorkers, please accept this New York State resolution insert that I'm about to give to you. I'm also about this time honored to present to you New York State Senate's highest honor, the New York State Liberty Medal. It's actually New York State's highest medal, but it's a Senate medal. Thank you and God bless, and I want Neil, my friend, Breslin, to come up with me and give the medal to the family.
I will now ask New York State Senator Neil Breslin to come forward.
Thank you very much, Peter. Generally, when I'm at Honor of Vets, I have time to reflect, and the day before as well, about what it would be like in 1942, at barely 20 years old, to get down and enlist in the Navy and give up the next 3 years. And it wasn't like being in service today, where maybe sometimes you'd come home every few weekends, or you'd Skype, or you'd get on your computer, pick up the phone. It wasn't like that at all. It was generally, for the most part, leaving your family for 3 years and having little contact and not having support systems to bolster your confidence and get you ready for the next day. I can't imagine what that would be like at 20 years old. At 20 years old, I was barely leaving childhood. And I certainly wasn't mature enough to handle those situations. But Bill Wade did. And he came home as one of those World War II veterans. And people were saying, well, I don't even remember that he talked about being a veteran or his children talked about him. They came home, married, went into business, participated in the community, as Bill did. There's many activities. And that's what our country is about. And I can only say to you, to the entire Wade family, how much everyone in this room appreciates what Bill Wade did. One of the greatest generation, a very special contribution. And I have a connection to Bill Wade, as some of the previous speakers. My father was the Commissioner of Social Services in Albany County when Bill Wade was the Commissioner of Social Services in Rensselaer County. And they were good friends, and my father frequently talked about Bill Wade. And I've known Tom Wade, it seems like, for 100 years. Tom can do that to you. But it's been at least over 40 years. and we've been dear friends prior to me ever thinking about getting into elected office. And the Wade family has continued that involvement in activities around the community in a very positive and frequent way in going about their business. But they're carrying on the legacy of Bill Wade. Bill Wade, who for 3 years left his home to service us, and as my dear friend Mike McNulty said, to make sure that we recognize that he made the contributions to make our life as free as it is, and our ability to get up in the morning and thank God for our life and thank the veterans for our way of life. So to the Wade family, what a wonderful, wonderful tribute to someone who made our freedom possible. Thank you very much.
I will now ask New York State Assemblyman Steve McLaughlin and John McDonald III to come forward.
Well, thank you, Peter, and good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here not only with those in office, but those in the veterans community and, of course, the Wade family. Just a little bit of a heads up, only one of us are going to speak. We, in the Assembly, we try to be timely and moving things along. So we rotate each month, and obviously, because of my great relationship with Tom Wade, I've chosen to say a few things, which, by the way, reminds me, where's our resolution? Well, we mailed it. It'll be in the mail, I guess, because unless it's up here someplace, usually it's right up there, but we'll keep looking for it. So anyways, you know, each month when we come to these events, and Michael, thank you for starting this so many years ago with Mike Hoblock, we hear a different story each and every time. I mean, there's some similarities. Individuals at a young age join the military, serve their country, come back, and then start a family, get involved in their community, and that's what your father was all about. There's always these little interesting surprises that come up. You know, I'm probably young enough than some, but I never would think anybody would want to run for Commissioner of Social Services as an elected office. Definitely not today, and probably back down then. But the reality is this: somebody who runs for that type of position, it speaks to their character. It speaks that they care about individuals. And that only comes intrinsically from when they grew up, and obviously it's transcended and passed down to the family. So on behalf of Steve and myself, we thank you first for giving us the opportunity to know a little bit more about William Wade, but secondly, to honor him and recognize him in probably one of the more appropriate months of November. Thank you.
Tim Forbes from the Rensselaer County Honor Deceased Veteran Committee will present the committee plaque at this time. Will the committee members please stand? Please stand for the closing prayer.
Day is done. From the sun to the lake to hill and sky, all is well. God's passion, dignity, and strength watch over this veteran and his family. Bless him and grant his family comfort and everlasting peace. Amen.
Amen. Retire the colors. This concludes our Honor of Veterans ceremony for this month. Thank you for coming to honor our deceased veteran for the month of November, William P. Wade. Please join us for our next Honor of Veterans ceremony scheduled for December 11th. Before we go our separate ways, we'll take a few family photos. Then we'll reassemble shortly at the county flagpole outside to raise the flag in William's memory. Thank you again.